Hey K-popers, welcome back to Hallyu and welcome back to a brand new K-pop news roundup. Oh boy, has it been a week for the ages. The massive Irene blow-up dominated this week's news cycle, and we'll get deep into that story soon, but there was also a bombshell reveal about Oh My Girl almost disbanding, and of course we got a ton of great comebacks to check out as always. Before we get started, a quick thank you to Hallyu's honorary producers. If you want to be on this list and show off your bias group to everyone watching, you can support my work on Patreon. Patrons also have a say in lots of videos before they're released, so if you want to leave your mark on Hallyu, come join us over on Patreon. We've got so much to talk about, so let's jump right in. This is your K-pop news roundup for October 25th, 2020. Alright, let's get into the Irene news, as the situation really developed with tons more information coming out since I published the breaking news video earlier this week. Hang on tight folks, there's a lot here. This is basically a mini deep dive. Okay, so, on October 20th, photoshoot editor Kang Kun-kwa made a long Instagram post where she described an incident where an unnamed female celebrity yelled at her for 20 minutes straight and brought her to tears. Kun-kwa also alleged that there were audio recordings of the incident but has not produced them since. Since the hashtags Psycho and Monster were included in the post, it basically had to be either Irene or Seulgi. 2 days later, on the 22nd, people discovered that the staffer in question, Kang Kun-kwa, had previously praised Irene for her work and her beauty despite these new allegations. When this came out, Kang Kun-kwa deleted a post from the past where she praised Irene. Then, a former Red Velvet fashion coordinator liked Kang Kun-kwa's original post, and a photographer, Hong Jang-hyun, and other fashion industry insiders left various messages of support for her on the post. Hours later, Irene posted an official apology for her outburst on her Instagram page directed at the stylist. SM Entertainment also made a statement apologizing to Kang Kun-kwa. Kang Kun-kwa then deleted her original post following the apologies from SM and Irene personally. However, more industry insiders began to speak up about their own negative experiences with Irene, including a backup dancer and a video director. Irene and an SM Entertainment representative then physically met with and apologized to Kang Kun-kwa in person for the incident, further trying to right the wrong. And that was all on October 22nd. The next day, on the 23rd, Elena Yim, who is a former SM stylist, came out in defense of Irene's attitude. Then, Red Velvet's fan meeting, which was scheduled at the K-Culture Festival 2020, was cancelled due to all this controversy. There have also been a lot of statements and posts from various people in the industry, not all confirmed, some positive and some negative, from people like Sunsu and Belle Xiao. Rumors also started circulating that Double Patty, which is the movie in which Irene is going to have her big screen acting debut, is being delayed due to this scandal. However, the company has denied this, saying that any delay is actually due to the pandemic. People then unearthed this footage from former SM and JYP trainee Mone Fukuhara, in which she accused Irene of bullying her. And just yesterday, it came out that cosmetic stores Olive Young and SSG.com have removed any and all ads and promotions that include Irene. Irene has also been the official face of Clinique Korea since March, and they are yet to make any decision or changes to their sponsorship with her. So that's the timeline of events so far. Now where does it all leave us? First off, as your source for news, it is not my place to speculate. My job is to bring you guys everything that we know at the time. And with fast developing scandals like this one, sometimes that means the information is slightly out of date, but I think the situation at this point is pretty mature. There's definitely evidence for and against whether Irene is deserving of criticism. On the one hand, Irene and SM were very quick to make apologies, even going to meet Kun-kwa in person to apologize. And if SM and Irene are both apologizing so quickly, that kind of leads to the idea of where there's smoke, there's fire. On the other hand, many industry insiders have come out in support of Irene, and some rumors are going around that have been proven false, like this movie delay. And like I mentioned in the breaking news video, there's already been some fallout regardless of where exactly the truth lies in all of this, namely a cancelled Red Velvet appearance and pulled Irene ads. So I don't think we're going to see the full scope of how much this is affecting Irene and Red Velvet for a couple weeks or maybe even a couple of months. So I'll leave it up to you guys to decide how you personally feel about this controversy with Irene. Either way, she is a human like us and we all make mistakes. I always like to say in times like this, remember the human. Okay, now let's talk about Oh My Girl, as the group revealed the shocking news that they almost disbanded 3 years ago just before they became extremely popular. The news came out in an interview with Marie Claire, which featured Seunghee and Binnie discussing the group's break after their comeback coloring book in 2017. WM Entertainment told the girls at that time that Oh My Girl would disband if the album they were preparing for didn't do well. This obviously put a ton of pressure on the girls, but thankfully for them and for all of us, that next album was the EP Secret Garden, which did very well and earned the group their very first music show win. This story really helps us understand the emotion behind all the tears of their first win. The girls are relieved because this win means they're not disbanding. And you can take a look here and see just how much they were affected when they won.
앞으로도 열심히 한 오마이걸 되도록 노력하겠습니다. 진짜 감사합니다.
The Miss Back bombshells are not slowing down, as this week we learned that Dalshabet member Subin was actually homeless as a trainee. She had come to Seoul on her own after her parents divorced at age 15. After running out of money to pay rent at the dorm, she would buy a coffee at a 24/7 burger restaurant and just sleep there overnight. And when she really needed to wash up, she would stay at a sauna. As I mentioned with the last Miss Back reveals, we do have to remember that this was a different time in K-pop, and I highly doubt that this kind of thing would happen to a trainee nowadays. But it doesn't make what happened to Subin any less sad. Alright, now let's take a quick break before we get to more news to talk about some great new releases from the past week. We're again in the thick of things here with this packed October schedule nearing the end of the month now, so there are incredible releases that we have to check out. Let's kick things off with LOONA's much anticipated comeback, Why Not? Boy group B1A4 released the sugary sweet song Like a Movie. 17 are back with a retro 70s visual in Home Run. Crush and Taeyeon worked together on the track Let Me Go. Soloist Minzy gave us the song Like a Boss. IZ*ONE released Beware, their latest Japanese track. Alexa dropped another hardcore comeback this week in Revolution. Yea Song, a perennial OST singer, released a song of her own called Happy. Mamamoo are back with their latest track called Dinga. Kim Hyunjoong of the boy group SS501 gave us the song A Bell of Blessing. And last but not least, Stray Kids dropped the MV for their latest Japanese release called All In. There were of course lots of other songs released this week too, so share the new music that you've got on repeat down in the comments. Personally, I found myself really enjoying the retro style from 17's latest release. Now back to the news. Former 2NE1 member Minzy is the latest former YG star to set up an agency of her own. It's called MZ Entertainment. And speaking of former 2NE1 members, CL will be performing her latest song Hwa on the Late Late Show with James Corden on October 29th. She filmed the performance at the National Museum of Contemporary Art and wants to show the world the beauty of Korean culture in her performance. SHINee's Minho is going on his final military leave on October 27th, and he'll be formally discharged on November 15th. He's actually staying in the army a bit longer as he wanted to help train juniors. BTS's Dynamite has passed Gangnam Style by psy as the most liked music video by a Korean artist on YouTube. As of writing, the total likes on the BTS MV are over 20 million. Now in some kind of awkward news, at the beginning of the week, Yeri let it slip in Yeri's room that Red Velvet is having a comeback soon, revealing the news to Chungmo since his song was the one that blocked their last comeback from getting a perfect all-kill. This was before the Irene scandal though, so let's take it with a grain of salt as things are changing rapidly. Girls' Generation's Taeyeon and SHINee's Key will become fixed members of the TVN show Amazing Saturday. The roster change comes after Girls' Day's Yeri left the spot on the show. Momoland is gearing up for a comeback on their 4th anniversary, November 10th. Psy will be participating in the production of the comeback, so I can't wait to see what kind of changes he's bringing to the group. And speaking of comebacks, Secret Number are going to be back on November 4th. The girls debuted in May of this year with the song Who Dis. Everglow has started a Twitch channel. They had their first live stream on the channel on October 23rd, and I'm personally hoping for some hardcore gaming content from these girls. Pentagon's Hui will be enlisting in the military on December 3rd. While it is kind of early for him, now is probably a good time to enlist, all things considered, as you can't host big fan meets, live concerts, or other in-person events as a group right now. Crush will also be enlisting soon on November 12th. He shared a touching message on his fan cafe wishing his fans to stay healthy and happy until he's back. Girls' Generation's Hyoyeon is teasing fans about some new music. She updated her profile with the word soon and a musical note emoji. Big Hit's acquisition of Pledis Entertainment finally received approval from the Korean Fair Trade Commission, and in the announcement it came out that Big Hit actually bought even more shares of Pledis on June 9th. So, Big Hit now owns 85% of Pledis Entertainment. Nitsu member Miihi is going on hiatus for now. JYP released a statement saying, quote, "After Miihi continued experiencing deteriorating health conditions, she consulted a medical expert and was advised to take time off and rest and recuperate. As a result, we've decided to put Miihi's health first and allow her to focus on her recovery. I wish her a quick recovery." A.C.E and their staff have all been tested and are quarantining after an apparent possible exposure. Thankfully, the boys all tested negative, but there will be no schedule for them for the next 2 weeks as a result of their quarantine. Boy group Intuit have announced on their fan cafe that the 5 Korean members are all enlisting in the military together to minimize the time they're gone as a full group. They'll be enlisting on November 16th, and I really feel for the fans of Intuit as this is a sudden and a heavy announcement. Isaac, the foreign member, will continue solo activities in the meantime since he doesn't have mandatory service. And in a final bit of news, IZ*ONE have broken the first day sales record for a girl group in Japan. As you can see, they cleared Twice's record by a large margin, and it's also crazy to see that SNSD and Kara are still up near the top so many years after their Japanese promotions ended. Alright, now let's talk about what happened on music shows this week. First off, Show Music Core did not have a broadcast this week, so only 5 trophies were up for grabs. That being said, this week was a delightful one of firsts, as Pentagon took their first ever win as a group after 1,491 days for their song Daisy on the show. Then NCT U also took their first ever win as a subunit for Make-A-Wish on Show Champion. NCT U would go on to take 2 more wins on M Countdown and Music Bank. Then Blackpink rounded out the week with another win on Inkigayo for Lovesick Girls, making it 6 wins in total for the song. Will NCT U continue to ride the top of the charts next week, or will a new comeback from this week take over? Let me know your predictions down in the comments. Alright K-popers, you're officially caught up on everything going on in the K-pop world. Let me know what new songs and news items stood out to you down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss all the great K-pop news and entertainment that's coming to you each and every single week here at Hallyu.